We stumbled into San Diego's highest rated sushi restaurant for a goof, and each of us was completely blown away. I really need to tell you about it, and that's starting right now. It was at this point in our Disneyland and San Diego, California trip that we were fatigued on making meal decisions. Cassie called an audible by finding a quick sushi restaurant she thought would be fun for Noah because of their Pokemon decor. There were a lot of signs pointing to the fact that this meal would otherwise be unimpressive. Unfocused menu, strip mall, an appetizer that appeared to be diced salmon on Ritz crackers, but there were also some opposing indicators. The restaurant is very highly rated on Yelp and Google. Their website references that they have a master chef, Vincent, and the website and menu photography was stellar. I was so sure this would be no better than the average experience that I left my main camera behind, but I did have my brand new action cam, and that's a good thing because I couldn't have been more wrong about what is going on at Temarizushi. Being that this was our family vacation, we couldn't just eat everywhere that I wanted to. Based on what we were seeing online, the staff at this place had a fixation on Pokemon, and we thought that would be a fun experience for our son. Part of what we were doing on this San Diego trip was visiting a store that's been featured on the Deep Pocket Monster Pat Flynn Pokemon channel, a place called TC's Rockets. So this restaurant helped kind of connect that part of the theme of the trip. Walking into Temarizushi, it wasn't just Pokemon, but other Japanese pop culture references could be found all over the place, including one completely unexpected place that we saw at the very end of the meal. Noah was partial to the giant Psyduck in the front of the restaurant and the cards that were lined up against the wall, but he also really loved the statues that they had. Flipping through the menu, I needed a plan. I had to know what California roll tasted like in California, so I settled on the 12-piece sushi combo. The bestseller sushi rolls also caught my eye, but this was also a tough choice between the gold, silver, bronze, metal kind of designation, as well as the specificity laid out for each roll. Cassie's dish was the most special thing that came to the table, and I'll discuss that a little more after I talk about all the things I've tasted. One thing we all agreed that we needed to try, just because it looked so ridiculous, was that salmon cracker appetizer. So let's see how it tastes. For exactly 5 crackers at $7, our expectation for this salmon cracker appetizer were quite low, and we mainly ordered this for a goof. God almighty, we were so shocked at how good this was. It's as simple as can be. A couple of small diced pieces of salmon, Ritz cracker, tiny little dill weed, one bite, amazing, done. Something about the fatty salmon and the buttery dry cracker just works so well. The dill brings kind of like a subtle freshness to the bite, and between being so preoccupied by all the pop culture that was around us, as well as how impressed we were with this bite, we had very little time to actually react before our sushi came out. My main dish was the basic sushi combo. 4 pieces of California roll, 4 pieces spicy tuna, and then 4 pieces of mixed nigiri. Here they give you tuna, salmon, yellowtail, and ebi shrimp. This is essentially what you get at any sushi restaurant, and I figured would be unremarkable. And since I generally dislike salmon, I have to mention, having that preview of the salmon cracker appetizer kind of helped rehome my expectations as far as this sushi platter went. The first thing I did try on the plate was California roll. The menu specifies blue crab all over the place, and their California roll was clearly not the typical crab with a K that you normally get inside of a California roll. So damn good. Spicy tuna, also freaking incredible. If they mess around with adding mayo to these, you can barely tell, and that's because it was really rich with chili, but it also left some room for you to taste the fish. Sometimes mayo kind of overpowers that. The individual bites of salmon, tuna, yellowtail, shrimp were all awesome. One thing I like to check at these places is if the sushi chef is actually sneaking in a little wasabi underneath those pieces of fish between the rice. They were so damn good. When deciding between the best sellers, something about each of the top 3 knocked each one out of consideration. I'm not going to get into each of those, but if you want to see me go into how I decide to order stuff, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know. It could be a live stream topic. So the top 3 were out. That left me with the 4th choice, which was called the Walk-Through True Love Roll. Inside, blue crab and avocado. On top, tuna, eel, sriracha, spicy mayo, eel sauce, bonito flake, lemon slice. Shocker, it was incredible. Insane. The most noteworthy feature of this roll was that bonito flake that was actually on top, and that, as you eat it, melts in your mouth and gives you this kind of rich fishy taste. I know my description doesn't do it justice, but trust me, it's good. You add in the sweet crab, sauces, fresh fish. It was such an amazing thing to eat. I didn't want it to end, and at some point during this meal, actually at many points during this meal, we had considered whether we needed to put an additional order in. My son loves participating in the videos, so he couldn't resist reacting to his bites. We're kinda pretty lucky that he enjoys sushi as much as we do, so we got him his own tuna and salmon rolls, both of which he absolutely loved. Once you see what Cassie got, you're gonna be calling me Mr. Basic because her dish was visually impressive. She found it on a page called Temarizushi, where they describe these plates: a plate of sushi balls with various fish and vegetables, garnished with house sauces, fish eggs, microgreens, and edible flowers. Chef will pick the best ingredients to design the plate. On the surface, this goes to describe just about any nigiri sushi anywhere you can go, right? But they show pictures, and they're all nice and round, and everything looks so nice and beautiful and decorated. This was just so many levels of fun above your typical sushi experience. Also, their website refers to the fact that Temarizushi is a delicately made art of ball-shaped sushi, which is a departure from the more widely available edome-style nigiri sushi most chefs specialize in serving. Clearly something was different here, and I don't know enough about the terminology to describe it as well as they do. Cassie's dish was visually impressive, but her reaction to the taste was absolutely no big surprise to me based on everything I tried. She said hands down this is the best sushi she's ever ate, so all the extra care that went into making those Temarizushi balls obviously went a long way. So it's not enough that I'm gushing about this experience, we need a little bit of the gush on top of everything. It wasn't enough that this sushi experience completely blew our mind, or that we found a fun place that we were able to entertain our Pokemon loving son. At the end of the meal, they served our bill inside of a freaking Naruto manga book. Talk about putting a bookend on an absolutely memorable and outstanding meal. I am slowly starting to catch up to Emerald here, so make sure you hit subscribe so we can pick up the pace. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button. The California playlist is really starting to come together, so make sure you click into that so you could see everything I got to try on this adventure.